Today on Rappler, Rico Puno quits as Undersecretary of the Department of the Interior and Local Government.
However, his resignation does not relieve him of the obligation to appear at our public hearing here in the Senate on Friday morning.
Senator Santiago says the Senate probe on Puno will push through despite his resignation. And Filipino terrorists used Facebook and YouTube to connect with Al-Qaeda and the global jihad. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. Rico Puno resigns as Undersecretary of the Department of the Interior and Local Government. Puno makes the announcement a day after Senate committee decides to hold a probe on him on Friday. In a statement, Puno says he resigned to give the incoming DILG Secretary a free hand in forming a new team. Puno explains why he tried to secure the offices and apartment of the late Interior Secretary Jesse Robredo on August 19th. Aquino says he ordered Puno to secure Robredo's offices but not his apartment. Puno says he decided to secure the apartment after Superintendent Oliver Tanseco told him there were documents inside. His chronology does not explain why Justice Secretary Laila de Lima later went to the same offices. De Lima earlier said Robredo's widow Lenny asked for her assistance after learning of Puno's attempted entry. A former gun supplier, Puno is involved in an alleged anomalous firearms deal. Palace sources tell Rappler Aquino discussed this with Puno, prompting a mutual decision for Puno to resign.
He should have done it earlier. Then he would have become the poster boy for delicadeza. But he hung in there until the president was compelled to announce his replacement.
Senator Miriam Defensor-Santiago says the Senate investigation on Rico Puno will push through despite his resignation. Santiago says Puno must attend the probe on Friday or the Senate will issue a subpoena.
However, his resignation does not relieve him of the obligation to appear at our public hearing here in the Senate on Friday morning. There is no precedent that any person who resigns or even retires from public service is automatically acquitted of any liability for any misdeeds during his term of office.
Over the weekend, President Aquino says Philippine National Police Chief Nicanor Bartolome is Puno's likely replacement. Santiago calls on Aquino not to appoint Puno to a new position until he's cleared of the charges against him. On the 11th anniversary of 9/11, here's a Rappler exclusive. Social media platforms YouTube and Facebook link Filipino terrorists to Al-Qaeda and the global jihad. In November 2011, a Filipino uploaded a 3-minute, 20-second video on YouTube of himself wearing a camouflage jacket and a mask. Identified as Commander Abu Jihad Khalil al-Rahman al-Luzon, the man on the video spoke Arabic and asked Muslims to unite and help their brethren, saying there was, quote, no way to restore the Islamic Caliphate and the glory of the religion but through jihad. According to an Indonesian language news portal run by the son of a Jamaah Islamiyah leader, Ar-Rahma, the Muslim jihad in the Philippines is increasingly blossoming with the arrival of mujahideen from around the world, especially Al-Qaeda members. Intelligence sources from 3 different countries tell Rappler Abu Jihad Khalil is this man, 31-year-old Khalil Pareha, a Christian convert to Islam who took over the leadership of the Raha Sulaiman movement in 2005. RSM is a homegrown extremist group which worked closely with the Abu Sayyaf and Jamaah Islamiyah, once Al-Qaeda's arm in Southeast Asia. RSM carried out the Super Ferry bombing in 2004, one of the world's worst maritime terrorist attacks, and the Valentine's Day bombings in 2005. Pareha was also active on Facebook and is a case study of how one man can connect jihadists and terrorists from multiple countries through social media. On Facebook, Pareha became friends with a man who called himself Gerald. He invited Pareha to join Al-Qaeda's Yemeni affiliate, Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, or AQAP. Counterterrorism analysts called AQAP, quote, the most active and lethal Qaeda affiliate. AQAP is known for its body bombs, underwear bombs, and printer bombs. Gerald offered to pay for Pareha's travel expenses to Yemen. He can stay in Yemen for 10 years with an option to return to the Philippines in 5 years, he told authorities. Gerald also claimed they had already recruited Filipinos studying from the Islamic schools in Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Sudan. Pareha never made it to Yemen because Filipino authorities arrested him on March 1. Al-Qaeda leader Ayman al-Zawahiri releases a video for the first time in 3 months, confirming the death of his deputy. The 42-minute video confirms that Abu Yahya al-Libi was killed in a drone strike in Pakistan's Waziristan tribal area on June 4th. Al-Libi was considered Al-Qaeda's global propaganda mastermind. His death dealt the biggest blow to the group since the killing of Osama bin Laden by U.S. Special Forces in May 2011. The release of the video coincided with the anniversary of the September 11 attacks. Back in the Philippines, the daughter of murdered Palawan broadcaster Gerardo Jerry Ortega files a case against former Palawan Governor Joel Reyes for using a fake passport to leave the country on March 18th. Reyes is one of the 5 suspects in the January 2011 killing of Jerry Ortega. He reportedly used a fake passport to leave for Vietnam along with his brother, former Coron Mayor Mario Reyes. The Reyes brothers were able to leave even after they were placed in the Justice Department's Lookout Bulletin. Philex Mining Corporation may be slapped with higher fines for the tailings pond leaks in Benguet Province. Environment Secretary Ramon Pajes says the company violated the Mining Act and other laws when its Padcal mine leaked. Pajes says the penalty may be double or triple the previously announced 325 million peso fine. The leak began August 1 after days of torrential rain in the area. Since the initial incident, Pajes says there have been 6 leaks. Let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 2, Singapore's Foreign Affairs says its government is not on the Philippine side of the South China Sea territorial disputes with China. The island state is not taking any sides at all. President Aquino said in his arrival speech on September 9th after the APEC summit in Russia that Singapore, together with Malaysia and Vietnam, support the Philippines over the dispute. The Singapore ministry says Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong simply called on all claimants to resolve the dispute peacefully and, quote, in accordance with international law. At number 5, gruesome details on organ harvesting in Albania during the 1998-99 conflict in Kosovo are emerging. A witness at a war crime court in Belgrade says organs were taken from the bodies of prisoners, many of them Serbs, by the former rebel Kosovo Liberation Army in Albania. The wartime organ harvesting case is believed to be linked to another case of organ trafficking at a hospital in Pristina, another city in Kosovo where several doctors are on trial. At number 6, a report by a South Korean newspaper says allies in South Korea and the United States have been practicing for a war scenario that would involve an occupation of North Korea. Dubbed Wind of Freedom, the joint military drill last August now include emergency situations, humanitarian assistance for North Koreans. The North condemns the drill as a provocative prelude to war. At number 8, Pope Benedict XVI's visit to Lebanon will demand a papal high war act in a Middle East country divided by sectarian tensions as fighting rages next door in Syria. The 85-year-old pontiff, who spent the year battling a leak scandal at the Vatican, faces a packed schedule in the majority Muslim country. Religious pluralism and the welfare of Christians in the Middle East is likely to top the agenda, as well as calls for an end to the conflict in Syria. The Pope will reach out to the 13 million or more Catholics in the Middle East. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. Britain's Prince William and his wife Catherine arrive in Singapore to kick off a Southeast Asian and Pacific tour marking Queen Elizabeth II's Diamond Jubilee. The 9-day trip through Singapore, Malaysia, and the Solomon Islands and Tuvalu includes the former Kate Middleton's first overseas speech in Malaysia. Britain's younger royals are touring the globe this year as they seek to maintain the family's relevance in a rapidly changing world. Queen Elizabeth is head of state in the Solomons and Tuvalu, both of which are members of the Commonwealth. Andy Murray ends Britain's 76-year wait for a men's Grand Slam champion. Murray beats 2011 winner Novak Djokovic in an epic US Open final. He's Britain's first major male champion since Fred Perry claimed his first American title in 1936. He outlasts Djokovic in a match that had a 54-shot rally, numerous 30-stroke exchanges, as well as a record-setting tiebreaker. Not taking anything away from his opponent, Murray says he's, quote, always had tough matches with Djokovic. Every story on Rappler has a mood meter with 8 emotions for you to choose from. Click on how you feel, and your vote will come to the Mood Navigator, which chooses the top stories of the day and crowdsources the mood of the day. If you take a look today, let's take a look at the story that's gotten the most number of votes. Miriam, 6 questions and fury for Puno, 45% annoyed, 25% amused, 21% happy. The top story of the day, Puno quits, speaks up on Robredo, has 54% happy, adding to the mood of the day. Today, most people are happy. Well, that's Rappler's Newscast for today, Tuesday, September 11, 2012. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us choose the mood of the day. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.